We did not want to really make the mistake that other parties have made before, where small parties, you go out and you want to really stretch your limited resources. We had to really be strategic. We are not in this game as ActionSA to be in the opposition benches. We've taken a clear, deliberate decision to contest municipalities where we know we're going to win and be in government. Because politics is about actually being in government, not to be the one actually providing employment opportunities to councillors. No, we want to really be in government. That is why we decided on this approach to contest municipalities where we know we will be government. And we're going to do everything possible to govern on our own. In the event we can't govern on our own, we are happy to govern with other political parties, as long as not the ANC. And the reason we will not govern with the ANC, because one thing that is very, very clear in this country, that for South Africans must really bear in mind that South Africa, the prosperity of South Africa and the ANC cannot coexist in one space. One of them is going to die, and it can't be South Africa. So we will govern with other parties, but as I say, and I want to repeat this, we're working very hard, 7 days a week, almost 24 hours a day, to ensure that we get outright majority. But I want to also remind you, in the event that the voters don't give us outright majority, we'll work with other parties. Now, what is it that we are selling to people of this country in all these municipalities? Something that I was passionate about, something that got me into politics, is to fight this cancer called corruption. We are going to declare corruption public enemy number one. We'll do everything possible that you steal a cent of public monies, we're going to fight to make sure that you rot in jail. So in all the municipalities we are going to contest, corruption is going to be public enemy number one. I'm sure you know my track record when I was working in the city of Johannesburg. The first municipality to establish an independent crime-busting GFIS, Group Forensic and Investigation Services. In the 3 years of my unfinished business, uncovered 35 billion rands of corruption involving over 6,000 cases. Unfortunately, these criminals are still today protected by our criminal justice system. But I can tell you, ActionSA is going to one day put them behind bars. There's no doubt about that. We've got more than enough evidence we require to put these criminals behind bars. It's just a question of South Africans giving us the mandate to ensure that we can protect our public funds. And this is something that we commit, that we're going to fight in all the metros we're going to be operating in. One thing that is really very clear, you know, when I was the mayor, I introduced a project called Buyamthetho, the restoration of the rule of law in the city of Johannesburg. Today, this city, every time you talk to our communities in the city of Johannesburg or Tshwane, there's total lawlessness. We're going to capacitate the JMPD. We are going to work with the South African Police Services to ensure that we bring back the Buyamthetho. On a daily basis, we're going to have special units, and we'll have special units to ensure that every day they go out there and make sure that our residents in our cities are safe. And we know we don't have as a city, we don't have the prosecutorial responsibility. But one thing what we're going to do, we are going to make sure that we fast track the re-establishment of municipal courts, so that we can deal with the question of illegality in our city. You know, when I was the mayor, I remember the first strategic meeting I went out to prepare for our adjustment budget for February 2017, discovered really something I call evil, where our people were working for tenderpreneurs, where the city of Johannesburg was paying up to 14,500 rands, but our poor people getting 3,500. And I said to them, we are going to insource you. And fortunate enough, we managed that process to ensure security and the cleaners. And we are going to continue with that process, not only in Johannesburg, we are going to execute this program throughout all the municipalities where we'll be in government. So that Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, eThekwini, Newcastle, and KwaDukuza, and eventually come 2024, if we're in government, our people are not going to work for tenderpreneurs any longer. They will work directly for government so that they can have the dignity of work. One thing that obviously does not really apply to other municipalities, but it applies here in the city of Johannesburg. A program which was sabotaged when I presented it to council is the institutional review. We have all these entities, 13, 14 of them, City Power, Joburg Water, and so forth, Joshko. All these entities, with immediate effect, we're going to collapse them. All of them will be part of the city of Johannesburg so that we can ensure that we can save money for the city of Johannesburg. This money must go to service delivery. But more importantly, it'll speed up service delivery. That if I have a problem with an issue with City Power, I don't have to go through a board. I just go to the city manager. The city manager must deal with it, with this matter. So all these entities obviously were set up precisely by the current government to provide employment opportunities to the cadres and loot the city. We are going to really do away with these entities with immediate effect. I'm coming back with experience. As I indicated to you, I've got unfinished business. One thing that we are uncompromising about is the establishment of a professional public service. The days of people holding senior positions in government because of who they know are over under ActionSA. You will hold position in government because of what you know, not who you know. And I'm unapologetic about this. I got rid of a lot of cadres during my 3 years, and I know I was criticized for getting rid of experienced people. Experience in what? In stealing. I don't need experienced thieves and thugs. We are going to get rid of cadres, and I want them to really know in advance. And I want all the municipalities where we're going to be in government, we want, as a matter of agency, the lifestyle audits of these people who've been stealing, people earning 15,000 rands but living in a 5 million rands house, driving 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. They've got to tell us how they got this money. Allow South Africans who are going to be competent so that service delivery to our South Africans get really the preference. One project that is very important, and also it's a project that applies to all the municipalities, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, eThekwini. Hijacked buildings. The current government has allowed international criminal syndicates to hijack our buildings and make life difficult for South Africans. Let me tell you, fellow South Africans, under ActionSA, no one is going to be in this country if you don't have the documentation. We are going to ensure that we put pressure on Home Affairs. It is their constitutional responsibility to protect our borders. We will ensure that for you to run a hairdressing salon, for you to run a shop there, you must first have the papers to be in South Africa. You must be registered with South African Revenue Services because we need this money. I can tell you, without JMPD colleagues are here, we will establish a unit on a daily basis, not only in Johannesburg, in Ekurhuleni, in Tshwane, in eThekwini. We're on a daily basis to make sure that bylaws are respected. You cannot operate businesses if you don't employ South Africans. South Africa is not a place, this country, with 12 million of our own people unemployed. We are not going to allow any country in the world to dictate to us, outsource their problems to us. when 12 million of our own people are unemployed. Those who are looking, those who want United States of Africa, let them go somewhere else. Let them go and run the United States of Africa. We will talk to them in 20 years' time or so. The day when South Africa has got under 5% unemployment. You know, this city, when I took over, had over 300,000 housing backlog, 170 infrastructure backlog. We can't just sit back and expect to God to sort out this matter for us. No, we need proactive government to ensure that we provide affordable accommodation for our people. And the private sector has demonstrated clearly that they're prepared to work with us. They're prepared to work with us to revitalize these buildings, build affordable accommodation under our terms, where we're saying, okay, we'll give you this building, but you've got to tell us how much you're going to be spending in revitalizing this building. We want a minimum of 30% of the accommodation to go to rentals of roughly 1,000 rands a month. Tell us how many people you're going to employ. South Africans, not anyone else. South Africans. South Africa is not an employment agency for the world. So, fellow South Africans, we're serious about reviving this country. South Africa can be fixed. We know we've got challenges, major challenges. Our credit ratings internationally were in junk status. It's going to take us a minimum of 5 years in 2024 to revive this. But I strongly believe, very strongly believe, South Africa can be fixed. But for South Africa to be fixed, we need the mandate of South Africans. We need the mandate of the 18.3 million South Africans who stayed away from voting last time because they were under impression by voting they were punishing the ruling party. No, we say no. As ActionSA, we're spending a fortune on education, voter education for our people to understand that each and every vote counts. And fortunate enough, our people have been responding very positively. As a ActionSA, we've been aggressive on ensuring that South Africans are registered to vote, and we are pleased and we are asking you South Africans, go out and vote. If you want to safeguard this country, if you don't want South Africa to be a failed state, please go out and register, because your vote is the one that is going to change your future. The vote is the one. The vote is the one that is going to protect your children from being turned into prostitutes, your children from being turned into drug addicts, because we will make sure that all these drug dealers, we hunt them down. And I can tell you, in the city of Johannesburg, I can tell you, I just want all these drug dealers and people who are destroying our city. I'm going to be personally heading most of the operations, because I want to make sure that our law enforcement agencies do what they're supposed to do. Until such time that South Africans are free to come into the city of Johannesburg without having to worry that they're going to be mugged. That is possible. But one thing that is, for that to happen, we need South African voters to come out and vote ActionSA. We are ready to govern. We're a party that stands for non-racial South Africa. We're a party that believes in the rule of law. We're a party that believes in economic prosperity. One thing that what I'm talking about economic prosperity, we are not going to be the party that is going to have unions dictating to us in terms of our economic policies. COSATU, that destroyed jobs over the last 27 years, closing one business after the other. I'm happy to tell you, COSATU will never dictate our economic policy. We will work with unions, like I did when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. We'll work with unions, because they have the right to really be there. But us as government, we are there not to only represent those who are employed. We are here to represent all the residents of the city of Johannesburg or South Africa. So we will negotiate and we'll negotiate tough for our people, employed and unemployed. Those who belong to unions and those who don't belong to unions. No union will dictate our economic policy for ActionSA. We believe in the power of the private sector to bring money into the city. Let me tell you something that, my personal experience, what people call white monopoly capital. I've been a businessman now close to 40 years. Started business career at the age of 22. In the 22 years, and made a lot of money. I've never seen white money or black money. I've only experienced money. I've only experienced money. There's a reason why I have this freedom that I'm enjoying today is because of allowing the private sector to play the role. You know, I grew up in a country where people who did not work, where those who did not want to work, it hurts me, it pains me. I started my business in Gauteng industrial area in January of 1985. Go back to Gauteng industrial area. It's a shadow of its past. People of Gauteng used to walk to work. I grew up in Newcastle, Babelech industrial area. People of that industrial area used to employ millions of our people. The factories are lying empty. Go to KwaDukuza. Come 2024, these factories, we're already doing a study so that we can offer these factories to the private sector to revitalize them. We'll give them incentives so that people of Amanskral, people of Harankua, people of KwaDukuza, people of Kwakwa, people of former Transkei can have an opportunity to work in their own areas. They don't have to come to Johannesburg. But those who want to come to Johannesburg, they're most welcome because we will build affordable accommodation for them. And we will ensure that anyone who's in this country obeys the rules, the rule of law of our country. That is not negotiable. Because if you look at successful countries all over the world, they survive on the basis of respecting the rule of law. If you want to destroy a country, temper with the rule of law. And that's what we've experienced over the last 27 years, was the breakdown of the rule of law. So fellow South Africans, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, we've got to protect this country. We've got to fix this country. But we can only do this if you go out to register, and come the 1st of November, let us make sure that the ruling party remains in the history books. I want my grandchildren to read about this in the history books, that there was once upon a time an organization called the ANC that my grandfather voted for in 1994 and 1999. But fortunately enough, my grandfather was clever enough to realize this is a criminal syndicate. And my grandfather mobilized South Africans to remove them from government and put in a government that is responsive, that is accountable. And I want you people of South Africa also to bear in mind, if ActionSA abuses you, don't give them a check, don't give them 27 years. 2.5 years. We've got an opportunity. If you look at this country's constitution, that's one thing I love about it. Every 2.5 years, you've got an opportunity to punish political parties. You've got an opportunity, 2.5. In the event the ActionSA fails you, the next time around, punish them. You don't owe them anything. You don't vote for political parties because they are your friends. You don't vote for political parties because they look like you. You vote for political parties on your mandate. What is it that you want from this political party? Let them make a commitment and hold them to that commitment. They fail once, don't give them a second chance. And the reason why I don't want you to give any political party a second chance, I was taught this by my grandfather. Says, if someone double crosses you, don't give them a second chance. I'm brutal if you try and double cross me. But at the same time, my grandfather taught me not to double cross anyone. I must be genuine with people, but at the same time, it must be a mutual kind of relationship. So, and that's how ActionSA is going to operate, not here, not only in Johannesburg, in the 6 municipalities we are contesting, and then come 2024. We're going to be in government on our own and be in government with other parties. Thank you very much, people of this country, our actioners. Members of the media, thank you so much for acting positively to us. We really and truly appreciate. You know, as a new political party, it's been amazing the support we received from media houses in this country. They followed us. And I can tell you they did not follow us because they like us. They followed us because we've had the story to tell. We've got the news for you. So thank you very much. We recognize the role that you've played, because you've played the role for exposing the corruption, maladministration that has happened in this country. Please keep on doing what you're doing. Hold the ActionSA accountable on the promises that I've just made. Thank you very much.